Hello everyone, my name is Richie and welcome back to another episode of Ticking Off Trains. Today we're going on the Class 222. Let's do it. So we're here at Derby. We're going to be getting on a Class 222, first class, first ever time I've been on first class, so it should be a good experience. So good first introduction to EMR. So we're going to go across to platform 5 and get on this wonderful 222 Meridian, which I've heard are pretty decent. So yes, today I'll be taking a Class 222 Meridian, which is operated by East Midlands Railway. Our journey today will be starting at Derby and then we'll be heading northbound towards Sheffield. So this journey is around about 35 minutes and covers some 36 miles. Derby Railway Station opened in 1839 and is managed by East Midlands Railway. Unsurprisingly, Derby Station is the busiest station in Derbyshire and is the third busiest in the whole of the East Midlands. Derby Station is a key interchange point on the Midland Main Line. You'll see all sorts of services going towards Sheffield, St Pancras, Lincoln and even down to Birmingham. When I arrived at Derby Station I had around about 15 minutes to wait, so I thought I'd go and do some train spotting, and whilst I was there I spotted a Class 170 in East Midlands Railway variant and also cross country. What was quite cool with the cross country 170s was that I spotted one in its new livery, which looks interesting. I much prefer the older livery, but the pink is quite a nice touch. The key operators that serve Derby are obviously East Midlands Railway, and also you see some cross-country stuff as well, so you will see plenty of Voyager going through this station. So the Class 222 Meridians came into service in 2004 and have been the backbone of the Midland Main Line intercity services throughout its service life. These were originally bought in to replace the intercity 125s, but are subsequently being replaced by the 810 Auroras in the next few years. As I mentioned in the intro, I will be travelling by first class on the 222s, which I've got to admit was quite nice for a first experience. So as we board the train you can see that we're wandering through first class now, which is in a 2x1 configuration, and luckily I managed to get one of the single seaters, which was very luxurious, and it felt like I had my own little area on the train. It was a really nice experience. So as my train departs Derby, we leave bang on time at 16:45. So as we leave Derby we pass the roundhouse and cross the River Derwent as we head northbound on the Midland Main Line. I was quite pleasantly surprised to find that my seat had a curtain, so if I wanted to have a quick half an hour nap I could do, and I could block the light out, which was very nice. I also had a convenient placed plug socket which I end up using later on and worked a treat. I must admit that the seats on first class are really comfortable and it would be a great way to travel down to St Pancras. I found that the headrest was a nice thickness and it was certainly quite comfortable, so if I needed to have a quick nap I certainly could have done. As we look over to the other side of the train you can see a table seat, which would be a really nice way to travel if you had a couple of friends, but if you're a sole traveller, honestly the single seaters are just perfect. So as we head northbound we pass some key areas and stations such as Duffield and Belper, which are served by the 158s. These services operate between Matlock and Lincoln and actually go up the Peak Forest, which is a really nice area to travel on. I'd love to do it one day. So just prior to arriving into Chesterfield I thought I'd go and check out the toilets. Of course, we've got to do a toilet review. So the toilets on this train are very similar to the ones on the Voyagers, which are accessible and there's so much space to be able to do what you need to do. I was initially concerned with the amount of toilet tissue hanging out the bins, but then I soon realised that the dryer wasn't working, so that made a lot more sense. I will admit that the dryer not working does knock it down a point or so, because you want to be able to wash your hands properly after you've used the toilet. Chesterfield is our intermediate station on this journey and is some 12 miles south of Sheffield. This station is primarily served by East Midlands Railway, but also sees some cross-country services and Northern call here too. The station originally opened in 1840, but since then has had quite the identity crisis. In 1870 the station was relocated, and in the 1950s the station was renamed twice. But Between 1950 and 1964 the station was called Chesterfield St Mary's and Chesterfield Midland. After 1964 it was then renamed again to its current name of just Chesterfield. After Chesterfield, I decided to sit back and relax along my journey, which I really enjoyed. I did find one slight issue with the seat in that there was no armrest on the right hand side, so I did find that I wanted to go and lean my arm but I couldn't really put it anywhere, so it was a little bit uncomfortable. As we continue our way northbound we pass through Dronfield, a smaller intermediate station mainly served by Northern and East Midlands Railway. At this point in the journey we are arriving into our final calling point of Sheffield. Sheffield train station was opened in 1870 and is the busiest station in South Yorkshire. It's also the second busiest in the whole of Yorkshire, just behind Leeds. So as we arrive into Sheffield, what would I rate my Class 222 experience? So starting off with the price of my ticket. So my ticket for this service was £5.95, which is an absolute bargain. And considering that this was a first class ticket, you can't go wrong with that at all. I think standard class was about 50 or 60p cheaper. So if my maths is correct, that works out to roughly 16p per mile, which is great value for money. So for price, it gets a 5 out of 5. As for occupancy, there were seat reservations in place which were fully abided by, and for that there was no issue finding a seat, so again 5 out of 5, can't fault it. As for amenities, again the toilets were a little bit disappointed and a little bit unclean, so I've knocked it off a couple of points there. And also, I didn't know whether there was any refreshments or anything on board. As for comfort, the seats are really comfortable, however that slight little thing about the armrest, I'm going to knock it off half a point. So overall, the Class 222 I would rate 4.5 out of 5. I absolutely loved my journey, the seat was perfect and everything was on time and running as it should be, so I can't complain one bit. So now that we've arrived into Sheffield, that is the Class 222 ticked off. So thank you for watching this video and hopefully I'll see you next time when we continue ticking off trains. Bye bye.